What's up, YouTube? So I'm building all the kitchen cabinets for our home, the lowers and the uppers, and then also our kitchen island. And I've got most of the lowers finished up already, and I wanted to kind of show you the process that I'm personally using to build the frames for the cabinets. Now, this is my first time working with cabinet grade plywood, and I've never built any cabinets of any sort. I do some woodworking, but I rarely use plywood in any of my woodworking. But with a table saw and a dado blade, as well as the Kreg jig, I was able to cut out and assemble pretty much all of my lowers over the course of 1 week, and it's been going pretty well. So I wanted to just quickly show you my process and how I'm building everything. So right here you can see I've got a cabinet, and this is a 30-inch cabinet. We had several 30 inches and then another 36 for under the sink, and then some that are even smaller. But this is going to be the basic cabinet frame design that I used. You'll notice a little toe kick at the bottom. And then I ran these 2 stretchers across the top to mount the countertops to and give the cabinet some rigidity. And then on the back here I made an L-shaped piece and then mounted it in. Now these cabinets are all going to have drawers in them, and that's why they have an open back. If they were just a standard cabinet with doors only, I would have put a full sheet of plywood in there. But since I am putting drawers in there and you'll never see back there anyways, I just put this 1 foot piece across the back, which will allow me to mount it to the wall. I could have showed you step by step everything that I did here, but that would have been an hour or 2 long video. So I'm just gonna break it down really simple and really quickly for you. I started out just cutting out all of the side walls to my cabinets, and these measured 24 inches wide from front to back, and then 34.5 inches tall. And that leaves you, after you add your countertop to the cabinet, with a height of 36 inches, and that's what we wanted in our house. The toe kick for these is just 4 inches by 4 inches. And then if you look closely, you'll see a dado ran all the way across the bottom of these cabinets, and that is a 3/4 inch dado to accept 3/4 inch plywood. For everything I use 3/4 inch plywood. I just wanted these to be very solid and to last pretty much forever, so I didn't go with 1/2 inch or even less than that for anything. So every part of this is 3/4 inch plywood. So right here you'll see a smaller cabinet, and this is going to go right beside our stove for utility or for utensils to fit in. And I just have this dry fitted across the bottom in those dado grooves. You can see it's not all the way tight. But what I have been doing is putting glue in both of those dados, adding a clamp to the front and the back of these cabinets. And then at the same time, just to keep everything square and level, I will put in 2 pieces across the top that I showed you earlier. So I have this piece here which went across the front, and that just holds everything perfectly square and gives you a mounting area for the cabinet to sit on, or for the countertop to sit on. And then across the back I pre-assembled all of these, and you'll see they're just fastened together with pocket hole screws, and then I left some room on the top and the bottom for both of these pieces to fasten to the sidewalls of the cabinet. And that will just sit in the back of it and hold everything really tight. So this is gonna be a little bit tricky to see, but I just start by taking some wood glue and I run a small bead across this dado that we cut out. And this is a 3/4 inch. This is a 3/4 inch dado, like I mentioned earlier. You don't want to do too much here because then you're going to deal with a lot of squeeze out and clean up later on. But you just apply that glue in, and then you take your bottom panel, and it's as easy as sliding this into place. Once you get that panel in, you run your glue across the other side, fold everything up, put a clamp on the front and the back, then you can put those top pieces in. So with a smaller cabinet like this, it's pretty easy to handle all by yourself. With some of the larger ones, I would recommend a helping hand. It can be tricky to get them in the clamps by yourself, but I'm just using these quick clamps here. They work great. I put one on the front and on the back after I glue up those dados. And then now, to keep everything square, I just need to focus on the top. Right now they're kind of bowed in a little bit. But once I get those pre-cut top pieces on, everything will square up nicely. So the next thing I'm going to do is make sure that I have my front facing me so I don't accidentally put the back piece on the front. Remember, this L-shaped piece I'm putting on the back. So once I get that orientated in the right direction, I throw another quick clamp just to hold the walls in place, and then I add my Kreg clamp as well. You want to make sure that you're perfectly flush across the top because you want a nice even surface to mount your countertops to. So I'm going to put in some Kreg screws on each side of this. I'll give you a little bit closer look, and that's going to pull everything really tight and add some rigidity to these cabinets. And once I get the front in, I go ahead and put the back in, trying to keep everything nice and flush with the top here. Sink all my pocket screws in, and then I'm pretty much finished with the frame of the lower cabinet. I also like to throw a square in there just to make sure everything is nice and square, and these are sitting pretty darn good. So I'll just let that glue dry for a few hours, and then I'll work on the next batch. So here you can see the mortise that I created for the drawer boxes, and that is just where that 1/4-inch bottom is going to slide into. You can adjust the width of that so that you get a nice tight fit. And then as far as constructing the boxes themselves, I use the Kreg pocket hole jig, and I put holes on the front and back faces of the drawer boxes. And when you go to assemble, you're going to want to make sure you keep those screw holes on the front and back so you can cover them with your faceplate. So I just realized I lost all the footage of when I assembled my drawers, so I apologize for that. But where I left off, I believe I had cut out the mortise that the bottoms would slide into. And here's just a small upper cabinet. And you can actually see that mortise right there. And my lower panel in here is just a 1/4-inch plywood, and my outsides are 1/2 inch on these smaller drawers because they aren't going to hold that much weight. But essentially what you do is you add a little bit of glue into the mortise on the edge, and then you can just slide this panel right in, and then it's just a matter of putting these caps on, these faces. And it's super important that you orientate them in this manner where your pocket holes are on the face and on the back, because the face cover is going to sit right over the top of this, and you will hide all those screws, and then you won't see them when you're looking at the drawer from the side when it's pulled out. It'll just leave a much cleaner look. But I apologize for losing that footage, but it really is as simple as sliding in that bottom panel into your mortise and then clamping and screwing everything together. All right, guys, so that's going to conclude the first part of a 2-part series on building my own kitchen cabinets. I hope you've been enjoying it so far. In the next video, I'll show you what I'm doing currently on the screen, which is making my own shaker style drawer and cabinet doors. And in that video, I'll show you the entire process, the easy way to make your own covers, how to assemble them, and how to attach them to the drawer fronts as well as the doors of your cabinets. But I'm going to end things here. I want to say a huge thank you to everybody that has liked and subscribed to my videos. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you on the next build.